Yeah, to be honest, when I set the gym up, that was the goal. I sort of, I spent a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of effort in developing this place. And I remember a lot of people saying to me like, "Oh, are you sure?" But I was confident in creating an environment where it was almost like, my goal was to have people almost in a position where they can't afford not to be here. So, yeah, I feel like we've achieved that. We are achieving that, and it's a pleasure when people like yourself say that and mention the environment, because it's crucial in a fighter's development and being happy and enjoying what you do.
I suppose now it's probably everyone's talking about it more for obvious reasons, but if we go back, a couple of guys who've been with you for a couple of years, are you open 3 years now, 2 years, this place? A bit longer even?
Might be coming up 4 years this year, so 3 years.
Royston, Luke, both been with you for at least a couple of years. How's that journey been with them? I guess you've grown as much as they've grown, right?
Yeah, so Royston come here when he was still 17 at the time. Really, really talented lad, growing not just as a fighter but growing as a man. Of course, we all do a lot of growing in that period of time and through those ages. I think Luke was next to come, and it's been a tough period of time for him, but he's been in the gym. He really has. He's been in the gym consistently, even though through all the frustrating period of time for him it's been. He's been working away, and he's that's shown in his game, and it will show when he has his debut. And I think Alois was next, and he's like a little beast, and it's hard to fathom that he's just 20 years old. So yeah, exciting.
Yeah. Royston, is he one of the most naturally gifted, talented fighters you've worked with?
I don't know if I'd say Royston naturally. It's hard to say because of his age.
Right, technically?
Yeah, he's very gifted, very, very gifted, really razor sharp. But he does work it as well. He's one of the most gifted fighters I've worked with, and I think he has the potential to go on and be extra special, really, really special. But that takes a tremendous amount of work to be able to do that. But for where he's at and how good he is at his current age, he's got some serious potential.
How much of the experience is his head already? Wembley, Tottenham.
Tottenham. He sparred undisputed world champions. He sparred, world champions, and he couldn't have asked for more. From what he's been getting. Frank, Queensberry, TNT, they've been delivering. So he's, everything that he could dream of in every aspect he's been receiving. It's just about him putting in the time and effort, and he could definitely be one of the best fighters I've worked with for sure. He's only 20 years old still. That takes a tremendous amount of work because, there's been a lot achieved by some of the fighters I've worked with, but he's certainly one of the most gifted. And the only reason I don't say naturally gifted is because, he worked really hard, and his family have pushed him. His dad's put a lot of time into him. A lot of people's put a lot of time into him. He's put a lot of time into himself, and he's definitely one of the most gifted. But he's worked for it as well.
What's this year for him in your mind? Because he's so young, it's hard to kind of not get carried away with it.
Yeah, this year for Royston, I think it's a step up. It's time for a step up for sure, and I think, with a fighter's development, you just have to take it step by step, because there are certain things that you want to see, good things and bad things. You want to see questions get asked before they take certain steps. So you have to take it step by step, really. For example, if a fighter's winning every fight round by round, by first round, you want to see him go a few rounds before you take that step up with someone that's going to take them 10, 12 rounds. Ideally, I know that can't always happen, but I think for Royston it's about a bit of a step up now, and go from there, step by step, really, fight by fight.
Alois, also very young, arguably you could kind of even younger because he's a cruiserweight as well, so he's got probably even more time. already sort of got this rivalry with Tommy Fletcher kind of bubbling away as well. Again, with him fighting February 10th, how happy are you with his progress?
Yeah, Alois, I'm happy with his progress. Again, he's one of them where he's stopping everybody, and you know, you do want the fight where hopefully he can get a few rounds, but there's a chance that that might not happen. So that might be something that we have to work on in the gym, which might take a little bit longer, a bit more getting used to, than gradually receiving that experience on the night, because it'll end up being at a level that he can't afford to learn on the job, so to speak. So, but yeah, the Tommy Fletcher stuff, the rivalry, that's fantastic. You know, you need that. You need something like that in your career. You need something like that, a storyline for people to buy into. And I think that's great for both of them. I know at the moment both of them probably don't think that's great, and they want to take each other's heads off. But you know, when it's all said and done, they'll appreciate having a bit of a rivalry, and hopefully something that people can start to buy into.
As his trainer, would you be happy for that to happen even like back end of this year? Would you prefer it to kind of keep bubbling away a bit longer?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind when that fight happens. As his coach, I wouldn't mind when that fight happens. I think it makes sense from a promotional standpoint for it to be because I think both of them will get to higher heights. But at the same time, you know, it's obviously I'm sure their team would be confident in their man. You know, I'd be very confident in Alois as well. He's a dangerous young man.
Both of them are big punchers. I mean, quite an exciting fight regardless of when it happens.
That's what will get people buying into it. You know what I mean?
New signing Luke McCormack. Why should the viewers at home be excited about him?
Luke McCormack. Why should people be excited about him? Because this is going to be one of the most exciting careers in British boxing history, possibly. He is a wrecking ball. It is so suitable that he is fighting on TNT Sports because he is going to be explosive. We almost laugh about it in the gym about, you know, how aggressive and how spiteful he is. He cleans out guys that are weights and weights above him with big gloves. So, you know, when he puts them small 8-ounce gloves on, it's certainly going to be exciting. It's going to be one that, you know, it's going to be a bit of a Marmite one because, you know, he's raw, he's uncut, and like I say, he's spiteful. And I think there's going to be some people that like that, and there's going to be some people that are a bit took back by that. But either way, people's going to want to tune in for sure.
Is there any comparisons with his brother in the way that they fight, or are they completely different?
Is there any comparisons between Luke and Pat? To a degree, of course, but I think in a sense of how they fight, not massively. They're both obviously extremely talented, both Olympians, both, you know, top of the top in the amateurs. Pat's obviously had his pro career off and running and off to a great start. I think that will be the same for Luke for sure. But yeah, in terms of styles, they're quite opposite. But either way, you know, they're exciting. They both punch very hard, and yeah, I would just say Luke's probably that bit more aggressive, bit more spiteful. And I'm saying this, but you're all going to see this as well.
Luke, how much of is there a bit of a rush in terms of this year? We want to have quite a lot of fights and then kind of get a move on.
Yeah, ideally with Luke, you know, we want to get 4 or 5 fights in this year. It's important because he's had a little bit of a delay. He's not someone that wants to box 20 journeymen. You know, he's not interested in that. He wants to move sensibly, but he's in a position where he can move pretty quick. And I think everybody in the 140-pound division that's up there already will certainly be looking back, knowing Luke McCormack's coming and is a serious threat.
What a great division as well, right?
For sure. My 140-pound division's such an exciting division at the minute, domestically, at world level. So, yeah, he's in a rush to get up there and get in the mix for sure.
What's it like for these guys having AJ around the place?
It's funny actually because in a sense of that, like AJ being in the gym, a lot of them have actually been on the squad with him before. Lee Wood was on the squad for a short period with him, I think back in like 2010, something like that. Pat and Luke was obviously on the squad at the time that he was still training with Rob McCracken at the Institute. So, and then one of the guys that Barry trains, Jamie TKV, AJ's had him over for sparring. They've got a great relationship. So there was already a relationship with a number of the guys before he actually come down here. But I think more so him being here and them seeing him train, them seeing him turn up early, them seeing him come prepared with meals, shakes, recovery, warming up properly, taking his training seriously, asking questions, those kind of things. Someone at that level to still be on it with those little details, I think that's been a bit of an inspiration, a bit of a motivation to the rest of them.
Al always said that he gets kicked out and then sneaks back in to try and watch the sessions.
Yeah, he has tried to sneak back in a couple of times, but look, there's a time and a place, but at the same, this is the problem. So, for the lads, when they're watching AJ, it's a big thing. But for him, it's his training session. He hasn't got time to answer everybody's questions. So it's not him, but it's my duty to sometimes say, right, you know, this is his time. This is my time to spend with him. This is his time to spend with me. If I was to go over his session, not to have a conversation or answer your questions on whatever it is that he's doing. So, yeah, you know, I have to sometimes put the time aside so that he can get the focus that he needs.